All right, good stuff. Thank you, Dave. We're going to head kind of traffic related inside. Our Mike Yanni, a lot of cycling traffic where you're hanging out this morning, Mike.
There sure is, and they finally actually let me off the bike to catch my breath. And we want to talk about setting up a bike. If you have a bike at home, there's a proper way to set it up, and if you don't, you can get some serious injuries. Now, Ruth, you're joining me now to talk about the first couple of steps. When you bring that bike home, what do you want to do first?
Well, Mike, it's very important to make sure that you do have a proper bike setup, both for riding effectively as well as for riding safely, because we don't want you to injure your knees, your back, or have bad position in riding. So there's what we call a 3-point check system. So I'm going to fit you for this bike right here.
Okay.
The first adjustment is the saddle height. I want you to get nice and close to the bike, and from your top of your hip point, I want you to have 3-finger width, and we're just going to make an adjustment by turning the knob slightly and lining
just below that bone or a little bit higher?
Just right below that. When we get on the bike, we're going to fine tune these adjustments for you, okay?
So this is the right height for me.
That looks pretty good.
Okay.
Yes, looking good. Make sure that's nice and tight. The next, we're going to take a look at the handlebars. Handlebars, we typically line up right with the nose of that saddle.
Yep.
Okay? Now, if you have back issues, you might want to go a little higher. This is a lot about comfort. If you are a true racer and you're used to your road bike outside, it's okay, you can drop it a little. I would say that's a more advanced option.
You don't want to be hunched straight over.
You do not want to be hunched over. We want a lot of space between our ears and our shoulders, not that office position. We want to release tension.
Now, what about space between the handlebars and the seats?
Great question. So what I'd like you to do next is I'd like you to take the crook of your elbow. You're going to line it up and you're going to reach out. Your middle finger should roughly touch the midpoint here. Now, it should be right here. So it's telling me that we need to take your saddle and adjust it a little further back, which I'm going to do at this point.
So right like that. So between your elbow and the tip of your middle finger, that's where that should be.
That's just a rough gauge. Once we get you on the bike, we'll make sure that you're in a good position. So if you don't want to hop on the bike.
Now we're almost out of time here. So last but not least, let's talk about quickly the shoes. Clips are important for shoes too.
Clips are important. You really want a connection to that bike. All right, we're going to take your foot. You're going to take that push point and we're going to put it right in line with
so it's locked
the clip.
in.
It's
and
locked
you were telling
in.
me that because this helps because when you're cycling, you can actually pull up.
Exactly. We want to use our hamstrings to pull up through this motion and drive through the pedal.
There you go.
Great
so
power production.
Important setup is very important if you don't want to injure your back or your shoulders. And because the workout is hard enough, Jill, Ted, as it is, so you want to make sure you're comfortable when you're on that bike.
Looking good to go.
Okay.